Alright, so before we dive into this product right here, I want to ask you all a question. We all know that lightweight mice is the craze right now. It is the hype, right? Every mouse is trying to get lightweight. But my question to you guys is, when does lightweight get too light? And that brings me right into the product we're talking about here, is the Pulsar Xlite. But first off, before we dive too much into that weight right there, let's take a look at these dimensions. And we look at the dimensions here, it is an Ergo mouse. Definitely geared more towards that palm. Yeah, you can pull it into a claw, tough to fingertip right there. But even into the claw, that tail end's gonna catch into the back of the palm, because again, you see it swoops out to the side. It's clear as day Ergo, and definitely geared towards palm right there. Now, when we look at these dimensions, there's two mice that really come to my mind that I really love. That is the Zowie EC2 and then the Ponage Ultra Custom. So if you ever used either of these mice right here, that is what the Xlite is gonna feel like exactly in the hand. Well, besides the weight. And Pulsar is stating that this mouse comes in at 48.85 grams without the cable, but of course it's a cabled mouse. So let's weigh it with the cable, and I get low 50s, 50 to 52, 53-ish here and there. But again, still 48 or 52, this thing is stinking lightweight. So now, before we even get into my time using it and actually gaming with the mouse right here, I gotta talk about the build. Talking about that lightweight and just taking a look at this mouse. Take a look at underneath right there. Well, there's just about no underneath, you know what I mean? You got your sensor, clear space right to the PCB you see inside it. It is just stinking cool. But talking about the build, like, number one, you're looking at this, you're like, wow, yeah, that's not gonna work, right? Especially with the old Techne stress test, you know what I mean? But let me tell you what, I can grip the heck out of this mouse. No flex whatsoever. I mean, this thing is solid. No side button flex, no top flex. Now, of course, on these bottom with these arms going across there, if I press down on them, yeah, it's gonna flex. I mean, come on, we expect that, you know what I mean? But again, no one's gonna be pressed on the bottom. I just do it to test it. But even when I press here, nothing happens to the PCB. Yeah, it flexes, but again, that's about it. So it puts me in two spots right there. Mouse is incredibly solid, beyond what I ever would expect for a mouse like this, again, to be this solid. Heck, this thing's built better than some fully shelled mice, you know what I mean? That's how good it is. I guess my concern here is, you know, how will it hold up over time with that? Will those loosen up over time? Is it okay with the PCB and everything showing like that? I don't know. I don't think it would be an issue. Heck, it's the same as any other mouse with honeycomb or something cut out, you know what I mean? But definitely different, unique is what I love in tech right there, but it's shocking. It is incredibly shocking. You all know I love a quality built product, and this does it. It is just wow. And touching a little bit more on the build right here, as you can see, they got those line slit outs rather than, say, the honeycomb cutout as we see on a lot of mice right there. What this reminds me of is the Macalo, the Mountain Macalo mouse. They did the same thing. And again, the build is incredibly solid on that. So I don't know, is that like creating a better build? I'm not too sure. Again, I'm not no engineer or anything, but again, the Macalo 67, being as lightweight big mouse, was incredibly solid, and that's the same thing we're getting here on the Xlite. So maybe this new line trend right here, rather than honeycomb, is helping out with these builds being a lot better. But all in all, wow, this thing is incredibly solid. Now, if you're not a fan of those slots on the side right there, they do include you some grips, but y'all know me, I don't like honeycomb cutouts on my mice at all, but these slits on the side are much, much more comfortable than the honeycomb. But sure, I would prefer it to be flat, but just letting you know that it is perfectly fine like this. It didn't bother me during any of my play, but again, heck, they do include grips as well. Now, as far as performance, we're using a 3370 sensor right here, and every button on this mouse, from the scroll wheel, 1, 2, and your side buttons, they are all crispy and right to the point, just about no pre or post travel. Again, very crispy. So now I want to touch on my time actually using the mouse, and this was honestly the most interesting part for me, at least. Now, just giving you a little side note, if any of you watch my videos, you know I play a lot of Call of Duty. I now play at an 800 DPI actually on my mice, and I really don't palm grip anymore. I pretty much use a claw, but I still pull it back into my palm, just let it rest back there to actually hold my shots and kind of lock them in. You know what I mean? My main being a ZA12 I believe it is, and I hold it and I can pull it back into my shot. So something like this, again, being been a very big fan of the Ponage and then the Zowie EC, two absolutely fantastic mice that I absolutely love. I was like, all right, this is going to be just like home, right? Easy breezy. It's going to be the exact same. But shockingly, no, it wasn't. Not at all. The shape, the comfort, perfectly fine. Again, sure, right at home. But when I got into playing Call of Duty and stuff, it was just, I couldn't hold my shots, as crazy as it sounds, because sure, I can pull it back, sit it in my hand right there. It's not necessarily the grip that's bothering me. It was the weight. And that's where it goes back to right to the beginning of the video. When is lightweight too light? And I really think that's only a question that you can answer. I can't answer that for you or anyone else, right? It's only something you can answer. And that goes right into what I always state in my videos. It's about your gameplay style, or heck, what game you're playing. Me playing Call of Duty, my style is I like going fast. I don't sit back here sniping and just peeking around a corner, right? I run into the action and it gets a little messy, you know what I mean? So this guy getting into the action, it's like, I'm going, the recoil is hitting, I can't, every slight budge on this mouse, I just overreacted to each movement right there. Recoil, bam, I'm down here and all over the place. That's going into the lightweight. Again, with me being at 800 DPI, I had to get into my game and actually lower my settings right there. By the way, there's no DPI button on this mouse. I don't know if I mentioned that. But anyways, I adjusted my settings in game. So again, then I lowered it, but I still had the same reaction, even on lower DPI. Every small movement would be a drastic reaction on the game right there, which goes into lightweight mice. You know, it's always going to play into your mouse, your gameplay, and then whatever surface you're using. You know what I mean? So again, a lightweight mouse like that, for me, in my play style, I'm not one to flick and dip. I'm not playing these games, Kovacs, for example, a one shot, bam, 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 right? Where you're just flicking and hitting one shot. That's where something like this comes into play in my eyes, you know what I mean? But Call of Duty, where you got to sit and you got to hold that shot, bam, flick and hold to the next shot. Again, the reactions are too quick and very just spontaneous with this mouse here. Talking about when I come over, and I did this in my test, I'm like, all right, this is just weird, because again, the shape is perfect. This is what's going through my head, right? Like, is weight really going to matter that much? So again, I pulled out my EC, got a couple rounds in. I mean, I didn't play great, because again, I don't palm grip anymore, but I did play better, because again, I can actually hold my shots. I can control my shots. If I just, you know, get a little shiver, I'm not going to go all over the place on the screen. Rather, this guy, every slight movement catches right there. And again, it's so light. It is so light that every little movement that you do is reacted on the screen. Now, one last thing I want to touch on the lightweight of the Xlite right here, and that is the cable. By the way, they include this little micro bungee in the box, which is just so cool. You got a little rubber tip and it sticks underneath your monitor or heck, wherever you want. They do need to include some extra sticky tape in the package, so if you ever want to relocate it, but this thing is so stinking cool. They could sell that separately, you know? But again, back to the wire on the Xlite, it's a stiffy. As you can see right here, I mean, it is just, it's very, Viper Mini. That's exactly what this reminds me of here, right? And the thing why I mentioned that is, again, going back to this mouse being so light, talking 50 grams, and then you have this big stiff cable. So this cable just, it overtakes the mouse easily, you know? And when you're gaming with the bungee they include, or heck, even with a different bungee, it didn't work, you know what I mean? It's just the cable, even if it's hanging like this and not touching anything, you still feel the cable. Again, with the heavy cable with such a lightweight mouse, you know, where this would come into play and I think be incredibly beneficial is if it was wireless, you know, with that weight right there. But right now I feel like the cable kind of takes control of me, and no matter what, just flicking like this, like I feel it in the mouse. And I know it sounds crazy, me not being a really big, super lightweight fan of mice. I like being right around the 70s, talking about me still maining a Zowie mouse, you know what I mean? That is that perfect weight for me. And you know, I know it's pretty tough for some people to lift 70 grams these days, but old Techne here, he's been pumping these 5-baggers, right? I mean, just look at that. Like, come on, 70-gram mouse all day long. Now you can also dive into the Pulsar software, dabble your DPIs and all your settings in there. Very simple and easy to use, and it saves right to the mouse. You don't have to keep the software open. Heck, just close it down, delete it if you want afterwards, and it saves right to the mouse. All right, so all in all, the Pulsar Xlite. What a stinking awesome mouse. Innovation. You all hear me say it all the time. This is what I love in tech. Something different right here, you know, and that's what we have. By the way, this mouse coming in at 50 bucks, cutting to the point. Do I think it's worth it? Yes, 100%. It's awesome. The build is solid. The performance performance is great. And again, the innovation is stinking awesome. The one and only flaw I can find with this mouse is this cable. The cable is just, it's no bueno at all, you know what I mean? So again, please do let me know down in the comments. My first question, what is too light? Again, when do mice get too light? You know what I mean? I really want to hear your opinion right down there. Is this something you've been looking for, that Ergo extremely lightweight mouse? Again, it makes me giddy. It's so awesome. I love innovative tech, and this completely does it. I'm going on a rant right here, repeating myself over and over, you know what I mean? But again, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think about it? Is it too light? Or is like, all right, cool, we finally got this Ergo incredibly lightweight mouse right there. But hey, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope I helped you out if you were looking into this mouse, or heck, a lightweight Ergo mouse right here. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for future tech videos. Hey, I hope we catch you in the next one. Bye now.